first with breaking news. Fox 5 News starts now.
Incredible video you will only see on Fox 5. Earlier tonight, our Fox 5 Rover capturing a police pursuit in Henderson that would ultimately lead to a shootout with officers. You can see the suspects speed by the officers. They later flee from the police after crashing their car. This is at the intersection of Stephanie and Sunset. And here's where everything started. The map shows us how this whole progressed. The vehicle the suspects are accused of stealing happened at Sahara and Paradise. Then the pursuit started there, ended down here at Stephanie and Sunset in Henderson. Police opened fire on the suspects, but Metro says no officers were hurt. One of the suspects was taken to the hospital with gunshot wounds. The intersection of Stephanie and Sunset remains closed tonight. And Fox 5's Kim Passoff joins us live now from the scene with more on what happened. Kim?
Yeah, John, we are right by the Galleria Mall as well as Sunset Station, and this is where Metro's first officer-involved shooting of the year happened. Even though we are in Henderson right now, let me step out of the way so you can see the investigation taking place behind me. You can see that car in the intersection. Metro says that that vehicle was stolen earlier in a robbery today. That happening right off the strip near the Sahara Casino. The suspect drove down the 215, got off at Sunset, crashed here at Stephanie and Sunset into another vehicle. 2 innocent people hurt there, and according to police, that suspect then ran with a gun in her hands. The Fox 5 Rover heading down Sunset when an officer speeds by, chasing what we now know was a robbery and carjacking suspect. Watch the undercover vehicle in the middle. 2 officers get out and run down into the parking lot while shots ring out. Traffic at a standstill as more officers arrive. Across the street, a family parks to order food when they hear the shots too.
I would say it's probably at least 5 to 7 shots if I had to recall. And after those shots rang out, there was a moment of silence where no activity. And then shortly after, a second burst of shots rang out again.
The suspect vehicle mangled after the crash.
So at that point, we knew something serious was going on.
During the busy dinner rush, a restaurant manager tells us she had about 50 customers inside.
And we locked the whole restaurant down and stayed in place and just informed the customers, and everybody sat still for about 45 minutes to an hour. Doors
also locked at a nearby furniture store.
We heard some shots buck off. It definitely was gunshots. One customer thought there was fireworks, but no, we were pretty sure it was gunshots. So we started scrambling around. Sure enough, we seen lights and cop action outside. So we locked the doors up, made sure everyone stayed inside, stayed safe.
A scary scene for so many just going about their evening.
It's sad. It just seems like it gets closer to home every day.
I had flashbacks. I used to work at Mandalay Bay back in 2017. So reliving those moments of that shooting that happened. So a little bit of a moment there I had, but had to keep it together for my family and our little one. And again, police say that that suspect had a gun in her hands when she took off running. Tonight, she is in critical condition. Reporting live in Henderson, Kim Passoff, Fox 5 News, local, Las Vegas.
Kim,